over the last 2 weeks, I've had two things happen to me that would normally get me angry or mad or, load up some sort of negative experience. But as it was happening, I was watching myself. I was noticing. Okay, so I'm going to get mad, and now that I'm mad, now how is getting mad serving me? Okay, that's not going to serve me, but maybe I can't stop it right now. But wow, I'm getting mad at that. And I just noticed how, if I will just speak about myself, if I'm not really paying attention to what feelings or emotions are going through my brain and my body, I'm going to get hijacked by those emotions, whether they're good for me or not. So the first thing that happened was 2 weeks ago, my computer stopped working. I was showing my friend Kane. I wanted to show my friend Kane something on my computer. I opened it up, had a white screen on it, which was not good. It was Sunday about 3:30, and I was like, okay, something's wrong with the computer. So I jumped online with Burgess's computer and looked for some computer repair places, and finally decided that, with Burgess's conversation with her, that I was going to actually take it to one of the Apple stores, of which there are three of them within 12 minutes of my house. That's what you get living in Silicon Valley. So Monday morning, I go to the Apple store. I bring my computer, which is 3.5 years old. I get there before the doors are open, go in. He looks at it. There's no one there. This is at Stanford Mall. No one's at Stanford Mall at 10 a.m. He looks at it. He goes, yeah, your motherboard is broken, or what he said is your logic board is broken, and we'll replace it for free, and you'll have it back in 5 to 7 business days. And it would be about $1,200 if I had to pay for it, but Apple would cover all the expenses. So I gave it to him, and that was Monday at 10 a.m. And then Wednesday at about 4 o'clock, I got a text from the Apple Store saying my computer was ready, come over and get it. So I had it Wednesday night. So basically, I was without a computer for, let's call it, 3 days. But the experience was really good. It was a really good experience. And, all those emotions that were potentially trying to hijack my body and my experience, um, they were not serving me. I don't know who they were serving, but they weren't serving me. And then a week after that, Everly and I, my daughter and I, were at In-N-Out, and the car battery died on our 4.5-year-old car. And it's like, okay, I want to get mad. I want to get angry at who I don't know, the battery manufacturing company, which I am told these batteries in cars today only last 3 to 5 years. So ours lasting 4.5 years was normal. And as I think about it, I'm sure the lights are left on many times inside with the kids playing with lights. So I was like, oh, okay, here I am. I'm at In-N-Out. I'm with my daughter. We're safe. It's beautiful out. Um, I scheduled time in the afternoon to spend with her, so there's nowhere I'm going to be late. And again, I noticed my emotions wanting to get the best of me and hijack the experience. And I was just watching it happen, like, wow, they're just out of control. And so as I think about these two events, I often track back to investing, because that's what I do. I look at investing, I look at my emotions with investing, and see how those all come together. And I want to talk to you about something around that, but I want to look at it very specifically in a way that I think you might yourself find benefit in kind of seeing what I have for you. Hey, everybody, this is RC Peck, and this is my weekend podcast. And the theme for this weekend's podcast is the signal and the noise. And as much as I can tell, the noise represents about 99.8% of information that you don't need. But what you really want to do is find the right signal. And as I was talking before with the broken logic board and the battery dying, there was a lot of emotional noise around what was going on, but the actual event was actually quite calm and kind of to be expected. Now, the first chart I want to show you is the S&P 500 going back really only about 7 or 8 months. And you see three things on this price chart. You see a green squiggly line, you see a red line, which is not as squiggly, and then you see what's called candlestick price chart. And what you see is the green line is kind of waving the majority of the time above the red line. Well, this is my short-term signal. When that green squiggly line is above the red, slightly less squiggly line, the signal is all is fine over the short run for the S&P. And as you know, if you've been listening to my podcast for the last 7 or 8 months, I had said to you that in December, in January, and in February, this short-term signal had turned to kind of a cautionary mode. But since the end of January, it has not. And what I love about this shorter term signal is it can eliminate, I could actually eliminate the price on this chart, and you could just see the green lines waving above the red line and know if it doesn't drop below, you really don't need to pay attention. And even when it does drop below, that is just a short term or a shorter term signal saying, hey, pay attention, something might be changing. Now, here's the S&P 500, and my signal on this one is a long-term signal. So the green line is a different exponential moving average, and the red line is a different exponential moving average. And as you can tell, the green line came nowhere close to crossing below the red line. So this is the biggest signal I look at for the S&P. And as long as the green line is above the red line, and there's an incredible amount of depth and research that went on to create what specific squiggly moving averages those are. But you want to have a signal. You want to have a signal if you don't. And it's that signal that can eliminate all of that noise. And we just get bombarded with noise from ourselves and from outside. And I bring this up because about 2 months ago, I had this person email me, and he said, oh, I got out of the market because it was just too crazy. Oh, okay. And he was talking about kind of this December, January timeframe where, yeah, the market was going up 3 or 4% and down 3 or 4%. And to me, it was like, oh, that's a lot of noise. That's too bad he got out. Because once you get out, it's really, really, really tough to get back in because there's really no signal to get out. There's just noise to get out. So if you're getting out based on your noise, which is really your emotion, then you've got to get back in based on your noise or your emotion. And that's going to be really, really hard to do. And so that's why I use signals, and that's why I'm such a huge proponent of using a signal. And of course, I'm biased here, using this specific signal, the market probability signal. Now let me take it one step further. This price chart, which looks very similar to the other two, is actually not of a stock or an index or a sector or of anything. It's literally measuring how many shares are advancing minus how many shares are declining each day. And it just measures that on the stock market. Nothing else, just how many shares minus how many shares are advancing minus how many shares are declining. And it just plots a number. And if more are advancing, then the gray line goes higher. And if more shares are declining, then it goes lower. And as you can see, I have my green exponential moving average long-term and my red exponential moving average long-term too. This advancing minus declining shares, this is not really necessarily a clean signal, but what it does is it kind of gives me the inside view or the internal workings of the stock market. And back in 2008, this actually turned negative or turned into red light mode a month before market probability turned to red light mode. But back in 2000, when market probability went into full red light mode, this advance minus decline actually went into red light mode about, get this, at the end of 1998. And it was about 2 years later that the stock market, the S&P 500, actually what market probability would say is break down. So even having some sort of internal signal mechanism can help you eliminate a lot of the noise. And if you're growing your money based on noise to get in and noise to get out, or emotions to have me get out and emotions to have me get in, then it's going to be a really rough time for your wealth especially in the area of growing it in the stock market. And that's why I said a few podcasts ago, you want to have an automated approach. You want to have approach, I should say it differently. You want to have an approach that includes automation. You want to have approach that includes some sort of stop loss mechanism. And your approach has to be passive, meaning you aren't getting up each day saying, should I sell, should I buy? There should be a signal in place. And when you have that passiveness, and when you have that automativeness, and when you have that stop lossness, you have the three legs to the stool that can grow your wealth really, really effectively. As far as the takeaway, or what one thing you can take away this weekend, is get yourself a signal or two, not 10 signals, not 30 signals, and get signals that do not signal that often, do not trigger every day, week, or month. You want a signal that actually does not, or it takes a lot to get it to signal. And then just go play golf. Or I don't play golf, by the way, but I was thinking of some sort of metaphor to say just, and then go walk or go read or go play with your grandkids or go play with your kids or go work out or go make more money or go build your business or your empire. It should not be used to looking at all the noise. Just like, and I understand this, just like when my computer broke, a lot of emotional noise happened around that. But the signal was, oh, just go to Apple, get it taken care of. And it was a great experience. Car battery dying, a lot of emotional noise. Oh, okay, battery's dead, 4.5-year-old car. Didn't really want it to happen today. In and out with my daughter, we're good, we're having fun. There's nowhere to go. Oh, okay, well, the signal is just get it fixed right now. And it was actually fixed in about 25 minutes. I hope this is, or I should say, I don't like using the word hope because then there's hopium involved, but really, this is just another step in helping you secure your portfolio and your future. Until next time, this is RC Peck.